So how many of you know that 75% of processed foods in grocery stores contain ingredients that have been genetically modified? So 60 countries, including Japan, Australia, and all the European Union countries, have banned these genetically modified products from being produced and sold in their countries. And there's a reason for that. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So the issue of GMOs doesn't apply to one single group. It applies to everyone because food is something that's a worldwide topic, and nutrition should be very important because it's what fuels our body and that's our source of energy. So there hasn't been very much research done since GMOs have only been around for 10 or so years. So the long-term effects are unknown. This is an unnatural way of modifying our foods, so obviously we don't know the potential effects that it could have on our ecosystem. By making these small changes, there could be larger effects. The International Food Information Council and the Pew Initiative on Food states that 54% of consumers don't know that they're consuming genetically modified products. And most of these products aren't like unordinary foods. They're everyday foods like corn, canola, cotton, papaya, and soy. So as a vegetarian of 7 years, I'm very health conscious, and I want to know exactly what I'm putting in my body, and that's the right of the consumer, and the industry is taking that away from us. So if we stand up to the industry will respond. So by learning more about what genetically modified food is, you have a better understanding of why these products have been banned worldwide. So first I'll explain exactly what a GMO is. Secondly, I will reveal the true intentions of the food industry. And lastly, I will explain ways in which awareness can be raised on the topic of GMOs. So in order to identify the problem, consumers must know exactly what a GMO is. According to the World Health Organization, genetically modified foods are foods that are derived from organisms whose genetic material has been modified in a way that does not occur naturally through the introduction of a gene from a different organism. So going off of this, there's a misconception that genetically modified foods are taking genetics from other plants and implementing into the DNA of these crops. But that's not the case. They're taking genetics from outside sources or foreign sources such as viruses, bacteria, and insects. So due to a lack of research, most of the support based on GMOs is from tests done on rats and insects and based upon theory. So in 1994, a synthetic protein was introduced to make cows produce more milk. And in 1996 is when initially 40 countries banned GMOs from being produced and sold in their countries, and the United States decided to implement it into our ecosystem. So we decided to take that risk. So these hormones resulted in an increase in colon, breast, and prostate cancer. And only 1 out of 10 of these cases are genetic, meaning that 9 out of 10 were caused by something in the environment. So something's going on here. So in addition to the small amount of scientific research that has been done, I will explain the business intentions of the corporations behind GMO products. So according to Michael Pollan, 50 million acres of U.S. farmland are used to produce genetically modified crops, including corn, soybeans, cotton, and potatoes. So now we will look at why these GMOs were created. When it comes to food, the #1 priority should always be our nutrition. And when you look at companies such as Monsanto that are producing these GMOs, they have selfish and greedy intentions. Their main intention is to make profit, which is not they don't have the people's best interest in mind. So they have a large investment in keeping this illusion that GMOs are safe. So you shouldn't have to risk your health just because these corporations are hiding information from us. So there's an active ingredient that has been found in lab tests called glyphosate, which has been tested on animals and insects, and it's caused a lot of deformities in their organs, such as missing lungs and kidneys, enlarged hearts, and many other problems. So Roundup seeds, or Monsanto produced Roundup seeds, which are genetically modified seeds, and they also happen to produce Roundup Ready pesticide, which is the only pesticide that will allow these plants to survive. So what they're doing is monopolizing the market and forcing small farmers to purchase their product, and they're basically trapped into the system of using their seeds and their pesticides. So what you don't know will hurt you. What you don't know will hurt you, and if you put a label on genetically engineered foods, you might as well put a skull and crossbones on it, and that's what a Monsanto executive admitted himself. So the topic of GMOs has come up in politics many times, but the measures have never passed, and the reason being is these large corporations. Most companies are owned by larger corporations that support Monsanto financially. Just recently, Oregon passed a GMO Right to Know Act. They didn't actually pass it; it got defeated by only like 1,000 votes. But it just shows you that we're close, and if we take a stand against these industries, they will respond. Okay, so in conclusion, we have the right to know. The market depends on consumers, so if we take away that demand, then we'll stop supplying these, and the GMO market will collapse. By educating yourself on what a GMO is, you'll have a better understanding of why it is that these other countries have banned GMOs. First, I explained what exactly a GMO is. Second, I revealed the food industry's true intentions. And lastly, I discussed ways in which awareness can be raised in order to collapse the GMO market. So I challenge you guys to go GMO free and organic. Thank you.